The Australian dollar suffered some sell-off as the week started while markets are generally steady elsewhere. Australian building approvals dropped for the second straight month by 2.4% month-on-month in January, compared to consensus expectation of a 2.8% rise. Australian dollar-US dollar dipped to a 5-month low ahead of tomorrow's Reserve Bank of Australia 8 decision. The central bank is widely expected to keep rates unchanged at 3% tomorrow, as Governor Stevens noted in February that the current rate is working well and appropriate for the moment. Though he warned that the economy has entered 2013 at a pace a little below trend. Markets are still expecting a 25 base point cut to record low of 2.75% in Q2, but this will very much depends on incoming data in the next 2 months. Technically, while Australian dollar-US dollar was clearly in a near-term downtrend from 1.0597, the downside momentum hasn't convinced so far. Though its expected sell-off would accelerate a bit if the near-term support of 1.0148 is taken out. In Japan, Bank of Japan Governor nominee Kuroda pledged to do whatever we can do to end deflation and expressed his confidence of meeting the 2% inflation target. Kuroda attends a confirmation hearing in Parliament in Tokyo today. He noted that the scale and scope of asset purchases by the Bank of Japan is insufficient so far. And he emphasized that the central bank must clearly send out the message, through communication with markets, that it will do whatever it can to beat deflation. And, if the bank were to ease policy, it would therefore be most natural for it to increase government debt purchases and target longer-dated bonds. Regarding the yen, Kuroda noted that currencies tend to fall for countries that ease monetary policy on a large scale, but he emphasized the policies are to ensure price stability and achieve the 2% price stability goal, although it could affect currencies in that process. The euro continues to hover around the 1.3 psychological level against dollar for the moment. Eurozone finance ministers will meet in Brussels today. The bailout deal for Cyprus is a focus in the meeting, but discussion could be overwhelmed by the political situation in Italy. Italian President Giorgio Napolitano said over the weekend that political leaders should resolve the post-election deadlock with realism and a sense of responsibility. Meanwhile, it's clear that Democratic Party leader Bersani would not form a coalition with former Prime Minister Berlusconi. Instead, he is working to team up with Grillo. But if he fails, there will be no choice but to have another election in no after the summer, which would cause months of uncertainties. Latest CFTC data showed that positions in the euro, sterling and Canadian dollar deteriorated sharply in the week to February 26. Euro positions turned to 9,400 net short contracts, down from 19,100 net long in the prior week. Note that's the third consecutive week of deterioration. And speculators just managed to stay net long in euro for 7 weeks. Sterling's positions deteriorated further to 36,100 net shorts. That compared to 37,300 net longs back in December. And positions have deteriorated in 7 of the last 8 weeks. Yen position were relatively steady at 65,300. Australian net